Many people decide to ignore this spiritual dimension. I feel pity on them because they'll continue feeling hopeless and failing to accept the only solution to depression and anxiety. Hello and welcome back to Cactus Advent. Here at Cactus Advent, we are true to who we are, therefore reminding you to be you, to be unique and to be better. Na kwa episode ya leo, we'll be looking at what is the right way to deal with depression, because as far as I know that the modern psychology, the modern science and the modern medicine classify depression and anxiety as merely biochemical and emotional reactions in our body, and they decide to overlook the spiritual connection that arises from the Satan's attacks on humanity. I don't want to come forward and say that there are no chemical reactions. Yes, they are there, but what triggers these things to happen? You see, they look at the symptoms but fail to address the root cause. Many decide to ignore the ongoing cosmic fight between God and Satan, and because of that's why they are going through these feelings. And you know, whether we acknowledge it or we don't acknowledge it, we are part of an ongoing cosmic fight between God and Satan. And it brings sense to say that the work of Satan is to deceive, is to lie, is to manipulate humans into believing their worth, their uniqueness and their purpose which God has given them. And his work is to draw many from the truth of God by manipulation. And he comes and lies. And once he does this, he gives you a false sense of who you should be. And many intentionally ignore the spiritual dimension of these things where they are coming from. And you know, because of that's why they are suffering. And you know, the work of Satan, the primary strategy of Satan of robbing himself and God from the minds of men has been through deception. Many today go through these feelings thinking that they are merely biochemical reactions and fail to see that this is part of the cosmic fight between God and Satan. And Satan works through deceptions. He lies. He lies about your worth. He lies about your purpose. And he lies about your everything. He gives you a new identity. And Satan has been very successful in doing that, in deceiving the whole humanity through secularism, through humanism, and all these other things which negate God. You see, people often feel hopeless. They often feel isolated. They often feel sad. And it's because they have accepted the lies, because it is a prolonged spiritual attack that lingers with you, not for a day, but for days and days. That's why once you go to the gym, you'll come back and start feeling depressed. Because why? You've only dealt with the physical aspect of it, but you see, the devil is not anywhere to go to anywhere. The devil is not going anywhere. He's there to make you just feel the way you're feeling, and so they'll come back and continue planting the same doubts. And once he plants them, you listen, and once you listen, you believe, and once you believe, you act on it, and you believe that you are worthless, that you are useless. When many people decide to ignore this spiritual dimension, I feel pity on them because they'll continue feeling hopeless and failing to accept the only solution to depression and anxiety. You see, the most beautiful thing is that we have Jesus. Jesus tells us in John 16:33, "You will have many troubles in the world, but be cheerful. I have overcome the world." Jesus tells us that we are going to have many troubles in the world, but let's be cheered up that he has overcome the world and he is going to give us the peace. And he tells us also in Matthew that, "Come who you are heavy laden, and I will give you my rest." This is not just about physical rest. It's also about emotional and spiritual rest. And he heals all our wounds which we have been suffering from. You see, like depression comes from hopelessness. It comes from emptiness. And it comes from all these negative thoughts. But Jesus gives us hope. He gives us peace. And he gives us identity in him, so that we aren't caught in a web of lies, so that we won't believe Satan's lies. And you know, Jesus is only cure to depression. And once you accept that, you have overcome the world, because the devil will continue attacking and attacking. And if you believe his lies, you'll continue being miserable, being sad. And it's not only being sad, his work is eventually to go and destroy you, and to make sure that you are done. That's the strategy of the devil. And once you realize that that's the strategy of the devil, you have to be aligned with God, who is love and who wants good things for his people. It's like having a relationship with a child and his father. There is nothing that the child will ask from his father that the father will refuse, because God is our father and he wants good for us. But the devil, he wants to destroy us. He wants to destroy our uniqueness and our identity. And because he can't manifest in the physical world, he has to come and lie. And once he lies, you decide to accept the lies. And once you accept the lies, you internalize them and you make them a reality, and they become a reality. All the people who have stress and depression, those 8.1 million Kenyans, is because they don't have faith. What is faith? Faith is the substance of things not seen but hoped for. They don't have this faith, they don't have this hope, they are hopeless, you see. And faith comes by hearing and reading the word of God. The Bible is the most beautiful book ever written. It tells us how God has dealt with the problem of sin and his character and all these things. And once we read it, our confidence in him grows. And there is this quote that I love that says, "We have nothing to fear for the future, as we shall forget how God has led us in the past." Unless we forget how God has led his people in the Bible, we won't believe the Satan's deception, because his work is only to lie. That's what the best he can do. But when you harm yourself alone, you are the one who carries the action. Join me next week as we continue this mind-blowing conversation right here.